So, Congressman, what's your response to the DOJ saying you and Congressman Massey don't have legal standing to ask the court for basically anything?
Well, we're not intervening formally. What we said is that the Department of Justice has not complied with the law. They have not given us the documents that the law requires, such as the survivor statements to the FBI, and that the judge should order them to comply with the law. And the judge has ordered the DOJ already to explain whether they are complying with the law. I believe the judge is going to help us get these files.
Do you believe the president is trying to divert attention from the fact that these files have not been fully released, that the law that was passed has not been fully followed?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I certainly don't think that the actions in Venezuela or Iran are some kind of distraction from the release of the Epstein files. What I do believe is that this has broken through real culture, not just politics. I mean, when you have a 40-year-old factory worker confronting the president saying you're a pedophile protector, the president understands that there are a lot of people who think that he's hiding something. And he is in a vulnerable situation by his own making. He promised to release these files. For the life of me, I can't understand why they don't just release these files. The law that he signed requires them to release these files, and this is not going away.
Are you disappointed former President Clinton and former Secretary Clinton have refused to comply with congressional subpoenas to testify about Epstein? They say it's a politically motivated attempt to embarrass them. The subpoenas have no valid legislative purpose and that they've already turned over all the information they have.
Here's a common sense way forward. Release all the files. President Clinton has called for releasing all the files. Once all the files are released, you can call President Clinton or Secretary Clinton or President Trump to come before our committee and testify. But right now there's one person who's holding up the release, and that's not Hillary Clinton, and it's not Bill Clinton, it's Pam Bondi. And so Comer is trying to distract with all of these things. Just get the files released. Then I do believe that the Clintons should come before the committee, but first release the files.
Just lastly, you're a co-sponsor of a resolution seeking to reaffirm America's support for a sovereign Greenland. What is your reaction to the president threatening today to slap tariffs on any country that stands in the way of annexing the Danish territory?
It's so sad. You know, I just became the top Democrat on the China committee, and the president's policies are having us lose to China. I mean, the biggest thing we need is our allies so that we can have rare earth independence. We should be working with Japan and Australia and Canada and, frankly, Denmark. Instead, the president is tariffing our allies, is refusing to work with Denmark so we can actually process rare earths, is making ridiculous demands of sort of invading Greenland that even Republicans like Don Bacon believe would justify impeachment. And he's weakening us with China. The people who are laughing are Xi Jinping and the Chinese.
Congressman Khanna, thanks so much. Appreciate it.